Hey there, hi there, hello there, and welcome back to another exciting edition of the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast, where we bring you the joy and excitement of UofL women's athletics. Certainly, some very exciting things that have gone down the pike this week, as we like to say, and some more exciting things to come. But we have a strong but small, mighty crew today. I think uh, it's maybe one of my favorite lineups. I'll be honest with you, because I got my old buddy Jeff in here with me. And Jeff and I always get along well about most things until he turns snarky. And
I don't turn snarky. I just am snarky.
yeah,
It
but
means he hasn't had enough coffee yet.
that's right. That's usually what it is, or there's something gone wrong in the IT world.
Yeah. Well, that too. Yeah. I
And
did
we
sort out my
always
issues today, though.
good, yeah, because you were having a week earlier, right?
Yeah, it really was. It's been a week. I had like last week we didn't get the podcast posted as a podcast because for some reason the recording wasn't working on my laptop, and it continued into this morning. I finally figured out sort of what's going on. So, but I think we're recording it. I think we'll be able to get it up this week or today. So.
Because I do get a couple comments on that, and I just kind of said,
Yeah, it was
user error.
Technical difficulties, man. It was I was on the struggle bus last week.
And I had some IT issues too earlier in the week when I could not get online. It just wouldn't happen for me. And I found out that down in the right-hand corner of your computer, there's a little insignia down there, and if it shows a globe, you're not online. But if it shows like a baseball diamond, you are. Isn't that something? After all these years, I just found that out.
Yeah.
And so I was told that, and then I was told on how to get the baseball diamond to show up again. But a very nice representative, I might add, from our wonderful cable company, Spectrum, who walked me through the details, and then all of a sudden, boom, I was back online. So that was my adventure for the week. But
Yeah.
we've also got Daryl in with us today. That's right, we haven't had Daryl in a couple weeks, so it's always great to have her back in with us. And Daryl, what is going on, my friend?
Morning, guys. Good to be back. I finally can breathe for a second. I'm home, and life is just flying by, doing adult things. So a couple weeks ago, was out of town. Magical experience. If the guys didn't share, I did get engaged to a longtime boyfriend, so very, very excited about that. And then last week, my nephew's birthday. He's already 2 years old, guys. We're still homeowners trying to get a new tenant in, and just life is flying by. So happy New Year's. Hope to see you all eventually. And yeah, go
Happy
Cards
New
as
Year.
always.
Well, that's pretty early there, but that's fine. We can do that. Jeff was wanting a little Thanksgiving earlier, I think, before New Year's maybe, and
Yeah, Thanksgiving's kind of my favorite fall holiday. Yeah.
It's very important.
Yeah.
and
Christmas
I'm
is so
not as
commercialized.
big a Christmas guy as I used to be. I'll
Yeah,
admit that.
it's so commercialized. I enjoy spending time with the family and everything, but it's so much. And then Halloween is just the hassle of costumes and stuff, and I mostly just kind of bow out of that and go hide and be an introvert. So
I don't
Same.
mind going to a good Halloween party.
I'm over it. I'm just not into it the last few years, y'all. It's too much effort.
But it can't
Not
be
a lot of
effort.
reward.
And since I don't drink like I used to,
yeah, well,
that kind of takes some of the luster off of it too.
yeah.
But anyway, so that's one of those things that you just have to make a change in your life. But as for that, we got some fun things to go on today and to happen today, and to kind of bring where we do know that Jared is. I'm guessing Jared's probably up at Mike Gilpatrick's wedding today.
Yeah,
up
that
in
was the plan.
Indianapolis.
He left at the set break of volleyball last night to go pick his lovely wife Katie up, and they were on their way up there last night. So,
and if the name sounds familiar, Mike, I think Mike has been on the show with us
yeah,
a few years back when we were actually doing these live remote from down on Melwood at the station down there.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
radio
you would
hour.
definitely remember him if you saw him.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a Hubert Humphrey. No,
Yeah, he kind of looks like a lot of people. Yeah.
or as I used to refer to him, the man with 5 first names. So, uh, anyway, he's getting married. So how about that? And Jared's up there. He had done a favor for Jared and gone down and was a part of Jared's wedding. So Jared turned around and said, "Okay, I'll be in your wedding then." And then there you go. I guess and then everybody will be in your wedding, Daryl. You'll have to invite both of them. Plus,
Actually, Thomas and I were talking about that last night, and I had to put a limit on his side of everybody he wants in it. And yeah, we got to do some cuts here and there, y'all. It's adding up.
Well, and you could do that. 2/3 of the little lacrosse team does not need to be there. Tell them to stay home a little bit.
See, we had an active argument about that, and he just couldn't see my side.
It's one of those things. I mean, the Teeter maybe and a couple of the top players would be great. And Teeter would probably, he would be a blast at a wedding reception. Can you imagine? Woo! But we do have other things going on, and let's go ahead and do what I've been kind of dreading and putting off here a little bit. But hold on, I'm gonna cough, y'all. So
we were talking before the show. We're all dealing with sneezing and coughing, and just kind of fall allergies, man. They're getting going. Yeah,
it's a real thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's probably sneezing. So I guess we need to.
We'll do some small talk.
Okay,
there we go. All right.
Sorry about that, gang. Like I said, I had to jump out there real quickly because my allergies are totally.
Paul, I wasn't sure if you were one of those 3 sneezers. You know how some people have to sneeze 3 times?
Yep, that's me.
I do sometimes. I noticed this morning though, I was doing like sonic boom sneezes. Really, I was ripping these things down, and I'm sure next door they were hearing me. These were like these big rear back and throw the fastball down the middle of the plate.
You gotta get it all out, or else you'll just explode. Your eyes will explode.
I woke Sonia.
Yeah.
Yeah. She did. Wow. She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Sorry, I'm just sneezing. Do you have a tissue?" So we will hopefully get over that. Hopefully it's nothing serious setting in or anything, although she did tell me that both of her coworkers are sick. So wonderful. I bet she's brought that home and given it to me. But let's get on to scheduling and Twitter information, shall we? Or scheduling and X information. I keep telling myself that I'm going to start saying that, but even X tells themselves that they're also known as Twitter these days. So we'll figure it all out. It'll be all worked out. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. Looking at some of the things that will be going on and happening here, we certainly know that the events will be getting in earnest today when the University of Louisville begins. Today being today is the 29th, correct?
28th.
The 28th, correct? Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking. One of the first things I see coming up on the schedule here is that we'll be playing Duke in football at the Papa John's Stadium out there, the L&N football complex, whatever you want to call it these days. Should be a fun one. I think this is a 3:30 contest, Joe, and if you want to, you can watch this on ESPN if you're not going out there. So, in any event, football's having a pretty good season this year. So let's give them a hand there and see what they can do, and maybe beat one of our big rivalries in Duke. Also, Rowan's still down at the head of the Blackwater River Rowing Regatta. Wishing them the best of luck there. I hadn't seen a whole lot on that, so I hope they're doing okay, but not real sure. And then going to tomorrow, which will be Sunday the 29th, volleyball. As Jeff told us today, we'll be playing the second of the Florida ACC teams in Miami after facing Florida State last night, where people you would never expect to get kills in games got kills. Sorry, I had to comment on that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Even got a PA announcement for it. It was great.
That's just, I'm not surprised there wasn't a flag or a card brought in.
He almost got one because, like, the down. So what we're talking about is there was a bug that crawled out on the volleyball court last night, and nobody wanted to touch it. So Dan Meskey, assistant coach, steps out there and steps on it, and then swipes it off the court with his foot. But the down ref was looking at the scorers table, right? And he turns around and he sees Coach Meskey out on the floor, which is a no-no, right? Like, that's a yellow card if that's. But then he realized, oh wait, he's squishing a bug, get it out of the way. All right, that's it. Yeah, let that slide. So he almost did get a card for it, to be clear.
I'm glad Sonya wasn't at the game because she would have asked somebody for a plastic cup,
Yeah,
a piece of paper, and she would have scooped it up and taken it outside and freed it
yeah.
during the middle of the set.
Yeah.
But that'll be taking place tomorrow, and then we'll move
But
on. Here.
Sorry, let me jump in on one more thing. The PA announcer did announce Dan Meskey with the kill. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Read the room. Good job.
We have a great PA announcer for volleyball. He's awesome.
I
like
think he's done some other sports.
I don't know. I don't know that he has.
I thought he did women's soccer, but maybe not.
I think you're thinking of Delbert, and that's not who.
No,
this is.
Delbert didn't do women's soccer anymore.
No, I don't think he does women's soccer.
Delbert did it for years.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to Sunday. Let's go to Sunday, shall we? What's happening Sunday, Paul? I don't know what's going on. We're going to play volleyball, as I mentioned, against the other Florida Miami school. So that should be fun. Going to the October 30th, men's basketball will have an exhibition, and they'll be going up against Kentucky Wesleyan in an exhibition match. Should be fun to see what Kenny Payne can do with this team this year and see if they can perhaps become a team that will be a factor in some things instead of being kind of an also-ran. Kind of sad that it came to that, but I think Kenny Payne's a man who might be able to bring them back pretty good. So
Hope so.
let's hopefully I think he can get that going here. Then moving on down the calendar, we'll go to November now, and I got to switch around, so I add to the calendar. Boom, boom, boom. On November the 1st, men's soccer has an event. So I guess if I click on it, it'll tell me what it is. Okay. I don't like the way they've set up scheduling now. I'm going to be honest with you all right now. And it says TBA. I think that's the first round of the ACC tournament. If I'm not mistaken, I think they've got Wake Forest, if I remember correctly, in seeing that. So we'll see.
I don't know on men's soccer. I haven't looked.
I thought I saw that they were going to get Wake Forest, but I could be wrong on that. In any event, best of luck to them and John Michael and his squad there. They're a good bunch of kids there. And always fun to talk to him, too, because he's such a lively coach. I wouldn't mind it if he was on the women's side, to be honest, and the coaching the sport on our side, because he would be a lot of fun to cover, I think. Takes us to Thursday. Thursday, nothing going on. Friday, and then I'm seeing actually several events here. 4 events on Friday. Looks like there's volleyball, there's swimming, men's tennis, and field hockey. Field hockey, we know, is the first round of the ACC tournament.
6 p.m. for that.
Cards were able to get a 3rd seed on that by their win yesterday. We'll get into just a second. And guess what? They get to play Boston College again. So all that trouble. The good thing is it's not at Boston College. It's at a neutral site, Charlottesville, Virginia. And then volleyball going on here on the 3rd. Jeff, what's going on with volleyball? I can't see it in front of me right now.
On the is that what did I don't have it up. I don't have it up.
It's Atlantic Coast. No, it didn't.
No, it should. There's no.
It says men's tennis and volleyball. Oh, here we go. The university. No, that's swimming. Swimming's at Notre Dame at the Ralph Wright Natatorium. No, it's Georgia Tech down in Atlanta. That's who it is.
Oh, right,
Friday
right.
Match. The
Yes.
Cards will
Yeah.
go down to Tech. And
Oh yeah, yeah. Because I was thinking about going down to Florida for a work thing, and I was going to try to swing through Atlanta on the way back as a layover, do it as a multi-city, and it just got way too complex. So, but I don't know. Another
that
time I'll
should
get
be.
down to O'Keefe.
You've been to Tech before, I think, haven't you, for volleyball?
No,
And I've been
not for
there.
volleyball. I have.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I've been in Atlanta. I've seen Georgia Tech. Have been by there, but I've not actually seen an event there. No, I would like to. I'd like to see O'Keefe. It's kind of a high school gym esque sort of thing, but wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah, theirs is, and their basketball arena is kind of quaint too.
Mm-hmm.
Down there, we attended a game down there. Sony and I did a couple years ago on our swing through Georgia and then to Florida and then back up through North Carolina, and really enjoyed the Georgia Tech folks. They were a lot of fun. Their SID's no longer there, but he was a great guy. I loved talking to him, and he set us up really nice too.
Mm-hmm.
Got to sit next to Angel McCottery. We did.
Nice.
So that was fun. But and then okay, so that's it. And then Saturday, well, we'll get to Saturday when Saturday rolls around next week. So there's your scheduling information. As far as your X information, I X at you at Cardinal Couple, and I was doing some coverage yesterday. I'll do some more today as things kind of turning around. I try to jump in there and basically give updates on different UofL women's sporting events on how they're going, so you can follow me for those. And then the strange comments I'll make every once in a while about other stuff as well too. So make sure and do those. Daryl was in with Daryl Fast 4, and Daryl, you gotta need to pick up your Twitter game a little bit.
Dude, I hate Twitter so much. I hate all of these
Yeah.
things. Like, don't look for me. Don't ask for my opinion. I don't even care anymore.
And
I
we
read
set
some of the stuff I tweeted and I wrote on Facebook from even 5 years ago, and I'm like, what were you thinking? Like, why would you put that in writing? Seriously, like something stupid like I only eat peanut butter when it's dark outside. Like, what in the world? Like, what? Seriously, what had to happen for this thought to come across your mind, and what was so important that you had to tell other people about it? Like, I just don't get it. And then I think of kids these days. These are potential future presidents, and like everything they put online, and we could I just don't. I'm going down a rabbit hole, y'all. So yeah, don't follow me on anything. That'll
so
just make people follow me.
we served the Daryl, and she proceeded to kill it and knock it back right at Jeff. So it's 1-0 Fast. Yeah, don't look for Daryl then on X. And to counter that, Jeff has got 2 X accounts.
Yeah, neither of which I use all that much anymore.
He
So
doesn't use all that much. So there you go.
Kind of in the same boat with it. So
Jared is probably out of the 5 of us here our biggest X user. He puts a lot of things up there, ideas, a lot of pictures, funny incidents with players and stuff like that. So if you're going to follow one of the 5 of us on X, follow Jared. That
Yeah,
would be the best bet.
I could concur.
And he'll keep you informed, and you just might learn something too. So definitely do that. And then our last one would be Case, and Case gets on there. He's best case scenario, as he likes to say without the E. I said, well, which E? The one in best. Okay, so it's a best case scenario. Follow him around if you want to on there. I don't think he tweets a whole lot.
Mm-mm.
I don't see him out there too much anyway. So I was thinking of dropping X and Twitter from our lineup of things to do in the show, and I may still do that. But anyway, we're still there for now, so you can jump in and join us if you would like, and that would be fun, and we would appreciate it. But let's go ahead and move on into the show here a little bit. We got some fun things to talk about today, and we should get to them. And I guess we could probably, where to start? Let's go back and talk about an event that happened on Thursday, huh? Where the Cards were actually involved in a little bit of women's soccer, and Cards, let's face it, they've had a season, okay. And there's been a lot of controversy, a lot of talk about this season, about some of the things that have been going on. in the season and such. And you know, they're at out Lynn Stadium. They've got top 25 Duke coming in. I kind of figured it would be a blowout. I didn't go. I don't know. Jared wasn't even there. I don't think. And
Mm-mm.
the
Oh,
Cards
good.
turned around and guess what? Those little boogers did. They ended up beating Duke 1-0. How about that?
Yeah. Didn't just draw against Duke, beat him.
And it's good to see them be able to do that because quite honestly, we one of the things that we've railed about here, Jeff, is the fact that we're not scoring much. Well, guess what? We only scored one goal and won. So
Yeah. Yeah, I
kind of
mean, soccer's not a particularly high scoring game, but so you can, win a game with not a whole lot of offense, but uh, you know, even relative to soccer scoring levels, we've been pretty low. So, it's good to see. It was good to have, a successful game to basically end the season. I guess theoretically there's still a chance it could make the NCAA, but basically no. So this is kind of the swan song for the year for soccer. So it's good to see them go out on a W.
And since Case isn't here, we were talking in our chat the other day, so I guess I can just kind of cover what his thoughts. He said that one of the most confusing parts about the season is that the team had the talent to beat teams like Pitt and Duke, yet they opened the season unable to score against Indiana State, and then has a draw and then lose to other genuine head scratchers. So that's just, I mean, you look at the record for this squad. 4-9 and 5 draws. 5 draws. I mean, I'm not that versed in soccer. Is 5 draws seem like a lot? I think it seems like a lot.
It's certainly more than usual, or more than there has been in the past, we'll say, because they eliminated the overtime periods for college soccer. You used to
Oh, yeah.
play for the regular season. You would play, I think,
Yeah.
potentially two overtime periods, and then it would end in a draw. And they eliminated those overtime periods. So yeah,
Gotcha.
so it's
Well,
definitely higher number this year.
you just like to see at least 6 wins for this team after so many years of just being an under 500 team. It's like, it's just I don't want to. I'll let Paul start the conversation, but um, um, it's just kind of getting old. That's all I can say about it.
yeah, you hope the best each year, and certainly every year I go in for a couple of preseason chats with the Coach Karen Ferguson days. One of them is kind of a multimedia fall event thing where other sources besides myself gather around and we talk to about 5 or 6 different coaches before the season start. And I usually have a one-on-one with me and Karen where we'll kind of talk in a little further details and depth about things, Daryl, that we think might happen during this season. And I got to tell you, she was very optimistic about this year.
Yeah.
She
Well, you
thought,
gotta be. You can't go into
yeah,
it, try to hype people up and be like, "Well, I'm just not a big fan this year."
she was very excited about some of the freshmen she had coming in, a couple of the Euros transfers that she had coming over, and then some other aspects of their game. Loved their goalkeeping strength and all, and it just wasn't anything that. It was kind of sad to see the attendance at the end of the year too,
Yeah.
because it had really waned pretty significantly. And I tried to just spice up your article a little bit when I put the stuff in there, Daryl. I put a
Mhm.
picture of Gabby Casellas hugging a little girl
Mhm.
who had Casellas on the back of her jersey,
Yeah.
and that's it's kind of my one of my favorite women's soccer players, and kind of something that was made me smile about women's soccer when some other things don't right now. And yeah, and the 500-pound elephant in the room too is you've got a coach who's been there 24 years. She's built up a wealth of good feelings here in this community and on campus with a lot of different people and friends and folks. But is it come time for her to grab the microphone, put on some weight, and sing? You know, you all tell me. I
Probably
defended
not the metaphor I would have used, but okay.
Well, yeah,
You go first, Jeff.
go ahead, Jeff. Yeah.
The concept, I don't disagree with you. I just probably wouldn't have used that metaphor. But yeah, she's done so much for this program. I mean, she created it. It doesn't exist without her. And you want to see her honored in that and respected for that. Um, but it's not. It's we haven't had the success that I think that is looked for and asked for and to some degree even expected at U of L in our programs. So you hope that maybe a conversation is had and there's a hey, maybe it's time to retire. Let's make it a nice, pleasant departure. It wouldn't be the first separation of coach and team in the Louisville area this
Mhm.
at the end of the season, with Racing Louisville doing the same with theirs. So I kind of think it's time to move on, but
Mhm.
um, you also don't want to disrespect Carrison, combine her names, Karen Ferguson days and her roles in this program, because she's done a lot. She really has.
She has, and she's always seems to um have the passion there and
Yeah,
care about the athletes and their successes. But I'm just looking at schedules, and the last time they've had a winning record was actually 2019, where they went 13-5 and 2. And then I was noticing the home schedules, and that was the last time we had a winning home record, with the exception of 2020, where they didn't get to finish um,
yeah,
full out season. But
yeah. Weirdo season. Yeah,
gotta constantly win at home. If you're not gonna get over
yeah,
500 overall, those home matches you have to have winning a record. I think you gotta give the home fans, the people that do go out there and spend their evenings, something to look forward to, and keep the people coming out. I mean, we built this beautiful stadium, state of the art for these programs, men and women. And I mean, the stands are not that packed.
no,
The end zone with the student section is not that packed. It's got to get a refreshment in that program to get people out. We've got to get the right players in here that are going to win games. And it sucks, but the thing, it's I think it's kind of run its course, and it's just time to switch things up. We got to get this program excited again.
That being a very, very dead on assessment of it and correct, because it is time for soccer to step up and join some of our other women's sports on campus and having some top 10 success and having some All Americans and having some uh, record breaking crowds and things of that nature. It's not happening. And as I wrote in my Tuesday article, 3-9-5 going into the game. Sure, they won, so they're 4-9-5. They've disappointed some very major games this year. They were outscored on the season 25-15.
hmm.
25 to
Mm,
15. And when you take a look at it and add it up, that is a total of 18 games. You had 15 goals.
hmm
And not going to win a whole lot that way. Nobody on the roster scored 3 goals this year.
mm.
So,
Yep.
in past years, at least we had, I mean, Ekic or somebody like that who could at least, you could count on a goal every other game or something like that to score. You haven't got one of those. Plus, things on Karen's side, it's a young roster. You have 14 players on this roster that are either sophomores or freshmen. Okay. But will they stay around? Will they
That's
stick around to grow with the sinking ship?
that's the thing. It's like, if you're the player, what do you do? Do you stick with who you committed to, or are you going to be excited about a potential personnel shakeup and then want to stick with the whoever comes next? Or do you let them do their own recruiting, and maybe they're going to bring in better players and then you have to leave? There's just so many just thoughts about it, but you wish the best for everyone.
And basically, gang, this falls on Josh. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
ultimately
know
it's his decision. Yeah.
we
Well,
know
yeah.
that Jurich was able to make very, very controversial decisions. We know that even Vince Tyre, for as indecisive as Vince, my buddy, was about so many things, at least every once in a while he could come up with a decisive decision.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that out of Josh yet.
Well, haven't had too many opportunities to yet.
Yeah, I
He's,
was gonna say
he's
Yeah.
kind of been riding the bicycle there and not really taking it out of second gear yet. And it's
he
on a
pitched
nice,
Kenny, right? He got Kenny on board.
yeah.
And Brom,
hmm
right? Okay.
That wasn't controversial though. Everybody had wanted
Oh
Braun
yeah, no.
for 10 years.
Well, he's
Yeah,
giving us what we want. We've been asking for it, so that's a good sign. He's like,
Yeah.
I know what they want.
and
Yeah.
everybody was saying yes, Cincinnati, please take Satterfield.
Yeah.
Here, we'll
No,
deliver him.
we will
We'll even
drive him.
Yeah.
we'll, we'll even throw in Derby Pie. Here, take the man, please. And now with that, with 9 games or I think it's 10 games into their season, the Bearcat fans are up in arms. They want
Yeah.
him out of there.
Yeah.
No more Satterfield. They're sick of him, and it didn't even take a season.
I was gonna say that didn't take long at all.
Well, the Cincinnati, they tend to turn on people real quick. And plus,
True.
the good thing is they're all worried about Bobby Huggins possibly trying to come back and take over West Virginia. So they're like, well, we threw him out of here. We figured he was done with college basketball once we got rid of him. No, you're not the mecca of college basketball. But so I like Karen Ferguson days a lot. We've had some fun discussions. I've watched her kid grow up. She's got such a great office staff. Of course, it's kind of a revolving door with her assistants sometimes, but Hunter Norton's a really great guy, and I think would be a credit to any program he goes to. He's done the best he can with this program here. Uh, I would hope that if anything's going to happen, Josh would approach it by saying to Karen, I've got to make a decision, Karen. Do you want to step down? Or am I going to have to do what I really don't want to do?
Okay.
But we'll see. We've come back before. Well, can we come back again? I just don't see it in our roster. I just don't see the players in our roster right now that can turn things around in the ACC. I could be wrong. I don't know.
I wish we had Kay's expertise because I was excited for some players in particular, but um, you just never know what's going on as well in their heads. Like how they're feeling about how their seasons or their soccer career is going. Some of these players, it could be their last time playing soccer. Not everyone goes to play professionally, so they have to weigh what's best for them and what's working, what's not. And some players have a few years left in their eligibility, and they'll have to make those choices.
We hope that it turns out well for them. Obviously, we do. We hope that Lynn Stadium can start getting a crowd in there again, and that there's some excitement in there. We'll watch closely what happens in the off season.
Yes.
We did also have some other things take place in addition to Women's Soccer Friday. Guess what? Field hockey wrapped up their regular season. They, you know, they've had a good season. They haven't had a fantastic season, but a very good season. Going up to Boston College, everybody was looking at that one as one that was going to be really close, really tight. And guess what? It sure was, gang.
Yeah, it was.
A double overtime, Jeff, and
Yeah.
it was a 2-1 win for Louisville over BC. A defensive struggle, yes, but and then in the end, I don't know who scored the final goal. I thought it was India Reed. Okay, I really did.
Yeah, and the
India
commentators
was the
on the
one.
stream were saying India Reed. The
Yeah.
camera was showing her, but in the box score in the stat sheet, it has Mia Duchars. So
And everybody was celebrating with India
yeah,
like
yeah,
she had scored the goal. Okay, but then all of a sudden, no, let's wait 24 hours. And what happened? Oh, that was actually Mia Duchars. Oh, gee, how did that happen?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw 12 knock that ball in the net, but whatever. We did score. It was allowed. Uh, we were getting some penalty corners, Daryl, but other than that, man, those refs up there were definitely a little biased toward the Eagles and a lot of the things they were calling.
Bias on the road? No. I think Louisville is the only program out there that doesn't benefit from a home field advantage in any sport. So yeah, this one was during the day, didn't get eyeballs on it. But you love to see the Cards finish on a win after the way that they let the season kind of fold out. Jared and I briefly got to talk about it, but didn't win a match since October 10th. So kind of a bummer, but like you said, not a bad season overall. Just some head scratchers there towards end of the season. You don't want to fizzle out, which I feel like they kind of did with all those losses mounting at the end of the season. Um, but you get a victory. You end on a win against a ranked squad on the road. I think that's probably will get some nods from whoever's in charge of the next step. And yeah, you love, like I said, love to win in the season on a win.
Mhm.
And the way it turned out, Jeff, this was also a very important contest since it was the final regular season one of the year for seeding in the ACC tournament that's coming up. And the Cards ended up grabbing the third seed.
Yep.
How about that?
Yeah,
And they got the honor of playing Boston College again.
that's right. Yeah, they get an immediate rematch. It's they get a chance
That's a
for
little scary.
revenge. Yeah,
Yeah. Different venue, of course, as they will go
Right.
to Charlottesville, Virginia, where the University of Virginia is located, and the Cards will look to see what they can do in that. I think it's the 6 p.m. slot Halloween night, so
Yep. We get 6
certainly
p.m.
this one will be on the ACC network if you want to watch it. And you could also have your trick or treaters reenact things that are going on the field,
That's right.
like like throwing your candy out into the yard and telling them to pick it up.
Anybody dressed up as a field hockey player just gets the whole bucket of candy dumped in there.
That's right.
I got
over their head. Yeah.
Lulu scratching on the door saying she has things to say.
Yeah.
But she just wants to talk about her Halloween costume, guys. So
what are we doing with her this year? You're
she's
going to try
she's gonna be a lion.
a lion.
Just a tiny lion. Yeah.
She thinks she's a Bengal.
Based on the Bengals, that might be a bad thing, Daryl.
Yeah.
She's always rooting for the cat teams. So
Oh, yeah.
Jaguars, Lions, Bengals. She hates all the bird teams, which is unfortunate.
Doesn't do her much good in your household, does it? Really?
We're working on her.
So we will find out what happens there as the Cards. Actually, I didn't get over to watch volleyball as fast as I wanted to because I was having fun yesterday watching Duke and UNC play at UNC.
Yeah.
They were battling for the number 1 and number 2 seeds over there for the ACC tournament, and that was one heck of a field hockey match right there. And ex-Cardinal who did some very good things for our program when she was here and ended up deciding to go to Duke, Charlie Van Oorschot, if you remember Charlie.
Oh, yeah.
Plays for Duke and had a goal in that one. So
Nice.
She's really been taking that team has really taken her under their wing, and they love her to death over there. So
Yes.
I'm not sure why the reason she left us, but she's happy where she ended up. So you got to be happy for her then, right?
Absolutely.
Right. So yeah, 1 and 2 we know we're number 3, and it'll be an interesting kind of tournament. I would think, and we've talked about this each year, we're easily going to get 5 teams into the national, the NCAA tournament for this. I think they might even go ahead and take Boston College in, especially if they beat us, because they're the 6th seed right now. If they beat us, I think they got a good shot of getting in, and we might be the ones that are kind of teetering. But
yeah, it's tricky to predict the field hockey NCAA tournament because there's just so few slots. You got an 18 team, and what 8-9 of those are automatic qualifiers, something like that, maybe more. It's just a really hard to predict what's going to go on there because there's just so little room for error.
We'll find out more about that as it comes on. Congratulations to them. As they get ready for the next step, the postseason. We'll get into a little bit of volleyball news as well here. I know Jeff's been thumping his head against the side of the wall, getting ready, wanting us to mention those magic words. Let's talk volleyball. So let's talk volleyball. Daryl, let's start with you and keep Jeff waiting just a little bit longer. Okay.
Yeah.
Cards bring in the Seminoles, straight set them out. Boom, boom, boom. I didn't expect us to lose to Florida State. The straight sets kind of surprised me, though.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, 5 sets is a rarity around here, so hope you don't get comfortable, Jeff, when you go to these matches and you got to sit down, and then before you know it, you're standing back up leaving.
We've had a few 5 sets, but yeah, no, I'm okay with it not really being short.
You're going to be spoiled. You're like, all right, I can go to the volleyball match at 7, and by 9 o'clock I'm at dinner or whatever you get planned.
Yep.
But yeah, Florida State's one of those teams that has some great history in volleyball. So they not a great season. I mean, not a bad season, but not the best season for them this year. But definitely, I'm glad to see there's no sets being lost to this kind of team because I think the Cards are still just chipping away on that belt, seeing how far they can get in the postseason, and just this program is continuing to rise. So anytime they can get a 3-setter sweep and go move on to the next one, which is Miami, another Florida squad, that they just have it in them. They're just on another level when it comes to college volleyball, and everybody wants to beat them, and not many teams get that opportunity. So love to see a sweep, especially when it's over the Seminoles.
Aiko Jones stepped up real big with 13 kills, hitting at a 440 clip. How about that, Jeff?
She did. She had a fantastic evening. Her, Kara Cressy, also did really well in the middle, but Aiko was definitely just on fire yesterday, playing at the level that, like, a lot of us know she has the talent level to do, but she doesn't always step up and play that way. And so it was good to see that she was actually playing at her best at the level that she's capable of. So exciting to see that. As for my take on Florida State, they're definitely a team that's like, are they good or are they not? It's really hard to tell. They, their schedule, they played again. They had some really head scratching losses early on. But then, they started conference. They started just rolling through the early conference season. But then you kind of look at it and you go, well, but their conference schedule is a little bit backloaded. We're one of the first top teams that they played. And they've got several more coming up in the next few weeks where they start playing, us and Pitt and Georgia Tech. And so you kind of look at it and you go, well, they're ranked fairly well. They're not quite ranked, but they're almost in the rankings. They've got some good wins over some good teams, but they've also got some head scratching losses. It's just been a really kind of an enigma of a team, and I kind of thought they were pretty good. They looked good playing, but yeah, it was definitely like you all. I was surprised to see the sweep. I figured they'd get a set off of us, but happy with it, obviously.
There were questions in there in the fact that the Seminoles came out with a 6'1" libero.
Yeah, it's a little unusual.
Yeah, and you don't normally see that, do you, Jeff?
Yeah, that's pretty tall for a libero. I have seen taller. Texas A&M a few years back had a 6'3" libero. But yeah, it's a little unusual. She did a fine job. I can't fault the decision to play her in that position. She did a fine job with it. Maybe not quite as mobile as some other liberos are, but she did a good job. But it was just a little unusual when they introduced it at 6'1" libero. Was like, really interesting. All right.
And Dan Meskey with the kill.
Yeah. As we talked about earlier, yeah.
Did we actually ever identify what kind of bug it was?
Very flat one now.
A very flat one. I like
Yeah,
that.
no, I obviously couldn't see from where I was up in the stand, so I don't know.
One Florida school in the ACC down, Miami next, and the scheduling like this. I'm not sure if I understand it fully while we are doing this playing like the two Florida schools back to back, but then we look at the rest of the schedule and there hasn't been much proximity in who we're playing, except for like you go back to the start of October when we played three Carolina schools in a row. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, they generally the ACC likes to, and other conferences do this as well. The ACC likes to kind of put travel pairs together, and so you'll see, Miami and Florida State are a fairly obvious travel pair, and you'll see them when they travel. They'll go and they'll play us, and they'll go play our travel partner, which is Notre Dame. So Miami played at Notre Dame last night, and they'll be here tomorrow. And then Florida State played us last night, and they'll be at Notre Dame tomorrow. So kind of just swap positions. Cuts down on the amount of travel the teams have to do a little bit. Makes it a little more feasible to move between these two, teams in a weekend. And if you look at the layout of the conference, you can see some geographic proximity. You'll see the teams will go play Boston College and Syracuse in a weekend. They'll play Pitt and Virginia, which is like their closest, and then Virginia Tech and Wake, and North Carolina and Duke, and you get kind of oddball situations where you have like three teams in the triangle area that makes that a little more difficult. So, and also you got 15 teams. There's some odd man out where somewhere.
There, one of my thoughts on this volleyball squad is that Danny Busboom Kelly didn't basically have to come in and do a total rebuild job, but she has really done a fine job in getting us to top national prominence, and she's also developed some really good assistant coaches like Dan Meskey.
Absolutely. Dan Meskey, I frequently hear talked about as one of the best assistant coaches in the country. He will be a head coach here probably before too long somewhere. Um, I hold out a little bit of hope that it'll be here, right? Because, if Danny goes to Nebraska, maybe we just elevate Dan up into that position. I think that, when the day comes when John Cook retires, assuming all of that happens, I think that would be a good move. But, we'll see when the time comes. It's not happening yet. John Cook has promised to at least stay through, another couple of seasons at Nebraska. And, will they win another national championship? How does that impact his decision making on it? But yeah, I do think a lot of it comes down to what Cook does, honestly.
And I was thinking that I'm sure it's been said before. DBK, she doesn't rebuild; she just reloads.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, every time you think we're going to lose an awesome player, which we do, we really do lose awesome players. Someone comes right behind them and says, "Hey, I want to be next."
Yeah.
I feel like players are probably reaching out to DBK at this point, saying, "I want to be a piece of this. I want to be a part of this program." It's so exciting just to know her history and her success as a player, and then as a coach, and then come to Louisville and do what she's done, getting this program, this city excited about the program, and selling out their arena, and getting
easily selling out the arena.
Getting people lined up for season tickets, and just doing what we've been saying for so long about women's sports. And if you build it, they will come. She's embodied that. So every time I get bummed that an awesome player for Louisville is leaving, I keep my mind open, and I know that she is already on the recruiting road of who's going to be next. Who's next? Like, might as well just that's the slogan. Who's next?
Yeah, and even if they don't pull somebody in from outside to replace some of these great players, you're developing the players that are coming up. Anna Stevenson and Tori Dilfer leave the same year, right? Both All-Americans. We pull in Raquel Latharo from the transfer portal to replace Tori, but we don't pull anybody in from the transfer portal to replace Anna, to replace Stevie. We just take players that have been on the bench and say, hey, your turn, step up. And they do. And you get performances like you saw out of Kara Cressy last night. So, yeah, it's fantastic to see. It's great coaching. Again, I hear Dan talk about as best assistant coach in the country. I'm hearing again maybe coach of the year type accolades for DBK.
Wow.
Certainly best coaching development. So yeah, it's pretty impressive to see. You see Claire Chaussee go to Athletes Unlimited, and she's racking up points at Athletes Unlimited now, doing really well. And you bring in Charity Looper to basically replace her. So it's impressive.
And what I see that the field of volleyball nationally is just opening, and it's not just your Stanford or your
So much.
Nebraska and Wisconsin. It's Louisville is in that conversation, and it's so exciting. And players notice too, and they hear the buzz, and they're like, I want to go to that other red team. Let's not go to the other obvious red teams. Let's go to a different red team and command the national volleyball world and make our names. I mean, every year it's just a little further in the tournament. So, I mean, what is in the cards for this year?
Yeah, there's only one more step to take,
One more step, guys. Come on. We
almost at the top of the ladder, but not quite. They'll have a very good shot at it this year, I think, with the roster they've got. And what it's gonna be like, do you think, once we're kind of out of the post-COVID transfer rules and everything, we're most of that's out of the way now?
Yeah, we got one more year of that, and it'll
just
be
about at the end of that tunnel, Jeff.
Yeah.
What's going to happen here? Are we going to start going back and relying a lot more on the freshmen that are coming in, or is it going to be one of these things where
I don't know if you're going to rely on freshmen? I think you're going to see more player development, less player transfers. Certainly, I think it's fairly obvious that the transfer portal just kind of went wild with the extra COVID years available. There's just so many. There's 1/5 more number of players competing for the same number of spots. So it's just a bigger. I don't say fight, but there's more competition for these playing positions. So, I think you'll see. I think the transfer portal will slow down a little bit, which will be nice, and then get back to a little bit more emphasis on player development rather than just recruiting the best players throughout their career, not just coming into freshman year.
Certainly would like to see Anna DeBeer keep, and she hasn't been the big powerhouse, Jeff, in the last couple games that we saw earlier in the season, but she's still been, I think you could say, a very influential part in the wins. Is that kind of where she's being so double teamed and triple teamed that there's other openings there?
There's some of that. I kind of wonder if she's a little bit in her head, because she either is, as my mother put it last night, she is either killing the ball and doing great things, incredible shots, and mind-boggling just what she does, or she's just really kind of missing badly. So I don't know if there's just kind of something in her head there, but I think when she I think if she can settle down and recognize that it's not all on her, she has a great team around her, and then she may be hopefully in a better place.
I think it was probably Jared leaving early last night that really threw her into a depression.
Yeah.
Perhaps. And didn't want to play as well once Jared had left the arena. I'm sure that's what it was. But let's take a look at the end case scenario here. We're going to get into a conference where there is no postseason tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to pretty much just start sending teams out of the ACC to the various regionals and such. Are we a number one seed right now?
Man, we're close. We are on the cusp of it. I have, they've got another top 10 reveal, the NCAA committee top 10 reveal of what the top 10 would be as of before the Friday matches that will be revealed tomorrow night. So that'll be interesting to see if we are in that top four category for regional hosting. We're really, really on the cusp of it, I think. But we're sitting in fourth in the coaches poll, so we're right there. I'm hopeful, but we'll see.
There are more games at the KFCM Center next year. There's been announced there will be a total of 5 there. This is,
Awesome.
are we going in the right direction here? Do we need to increase the amount of times we play there?
Well, I mean, it's like we said, build it and they'll come, but we got away from that because people stopped coming. If they put a trophy in that case, I think you're gonna have to. Um, I was out of town for those 2 matches, the Stanford
Stanford and
and Pittsburgh,
Pitt.
Okay.
or I would have been there. Um, but I mean, my crew, I can get at least 10 people in that building if we plan correctly. So I mean, I'm thinking that it's a great direction to keep going. It's just kind of wild to me to think about how 10 years ago, they had 40 bodies in there and they were struggling to keep the lights on, so they moved it back over there, and now they have a line out the door. It's just kind of like,
Yeah, 2 year
I mean, you
wait for
guys do what
season
you gotta
tickets.
do.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm for it. I mean, if they can keep the attendance up and just keep showing this program what support they have behind them, I think it's just a positive thing for everyone involved.
Jeff, your thoughts on it? More?
yeah. I'd like to see more there. Maybe not move the whole season there yet. We've talked about plenty that I'd love to see a purpose-built arena for volleyball. Or a facility for indoor, and maybe the capability to do beach as a potential add-on sport. But in lieu of that, and in the meantime, yeah, I'd like to see more go down there. Will we continue to maintain 9, 10, 12,000 person attendance? Probably not. But if we're doing 6 or 7, I think that's quite reasonable. And I think 6 or 7 is reasonable as a typical sort of average attendance down there for volleyball right now, given the level of the play, given how the team is playing, given the respect that it has in the community right now. I think it's quite possible.
I love it. Let's keep it going. Also, wanted to kind of touch on before we get to the end of the show, which is kind of creeping up on us. There was a basketball event earlier this week for the women's side, and that was the tip-off luncheon that they held down at the Gold House in the Grand Ballroom. Certainly a great time each year. Sonia and I have been going to these for quite a few years, and we've, of course, seen Jeff there for many years. He was not able to go this year. Used to see Daryl there quite regularly, but with her work schedule now, probably not something she can fit in. Certainly understand it all, but it's good to see faces that you've seen there year after year after year. There's a lot of the same people, and talking with them and uh, catching up with each other a little bit on how things are going, talking about the team, and certainly waiting to see what Jeff Walls is going to wear. And Coach did come
Choice
out
this year.
in a in a blue blazer, and I'm thinking to myself, "What's the deal here, Coach? Did you forget what city you're in?" But no, he came out and did a very good job introducing the team, talking with the team. The MC this year, they got away from Nick Kern, and Nick had always done a great job on that, I thought. But instead, they went with the PA announcer for women's basketball, who did an adequate job. I thought he was fine. Did a good job, introduced the players, and boy, we are tall. Woof. You don't really realize it until you see them up there on stage. We got some height this year. Look out. Other things about this luncheon, first of all, it's if you're going to go to something like this, don't go because you're expecting a great meal,
Yeah.
because it is standard banquet fare.
Yeah.
You get chicken that was probably really good a week ago. Now it's on your plate, and potatoes which were sliced and diced and fried real quick and then thrown out there with the country gravy on them. And I couldn't quite figure that one out. I like country gravy maybe on, a country fried steak or something like that, but not on diced potatoes. But anyway, it was there, and we also had green beans. So desserts always the key. Loved the desserts this year. They had a very good blueberry cheesecake, and also a pretty decent chocolate cake as well. And those were certainly Sonia and I were able to grab an extra one of those, so we were both able to snarf on that a little bit and eat that a little bit. Uh, Media presence again was dismal. There wasn't much media there besides us. One other website, and then they had a couple TV cameras there, but not a whole lot. Just not a lot of media. But the fan base was there, and the fan base was appreciative. The fan base was very excited, and I think that these new players we've got, these 7 that are first-time Louisville gang, they saw that crowd, and their eyes just got big as saucers. They were like, "Wow, this is the response we get just for lunch."
Yeah.
So it was fun. Had a great time. I think we were out of there at 1:10 and started it. We got over there about 11:30, so it wasn't a long day. I had to rush Sonya back because she was still going to go to work that day. So I didn't get the chance to stick around and talk to people. I did miss not seeing my buddy Sam Purcell.
Yeah.
I always loved to talk
Oh
to Sam
yeah.
about things. And Sam and I would always have such fun conversations before those. And thought about calling him up down to Starksville and asking him what he was doing.
Just speak to him nice, right? That's his phrase right now. Speak to me nice.
Say nice things to me.
Yeah.
He's
doing good stuff down there, man.
They really have fallen for him.
Yeah.
They look.
How do you really not like Sam Purcell? I mean,
he is one of those kind of guys that you just unless he falls flat on his face down there, and I can't see that happening
doesn't look
with
like
the
it.
talent levels he's got.
Just don't let it happen before us. That's all I gotta say. Most success to you, but just it can't be before us.
I think that Sam would probably be a very, very one of the first people to ever say, "Jeff Walls, you got another powerhouse. Don't schedule me for a while, okay? I need W's." So it could be a fun season. We look forward to it. Of course, the basketball will get started up in Cincinnati, going up there to play UC, and that's just a couple days away. Believe it or not, I think November 3rd. Did I see that correct? And then the home opener
looked at that schedule yet at all.
Yeah. It's I put it up on the website if anybody wants to see it. So if we're on the right hand side of the site, but I was looking at it and I'm like, wow, we got some interesting games coming in here. So, but hey, it's that time of the show where we're going to roll and do some final thoughts. So I can go ahead and start it out if you all want today and give you a chance to work on yours a little bit. And just like to say congratulations to the Big O, Olivia Cochran, as she was named to the All ACC Conference team. Olivia is certainly one of our favorite players on the squad, and good to see her on that list. She's played 100 games at UofL so far. How about that?
Yeah, I was gonna say senior Olivia. We've been talking about this for years.
and yeah, she's she's very excited too. I can tell you about the team that they've got this year and the things that they did at the Global Jam and some other things. So she's got some good running mates to go with her this year. Jada Curry, Kiki Jefferson, some other very good players that they can count on. So should be fun. But congratulations, way to go. All right, Jeff, what you got?
A couple of tidbits from the volleyball world of alumni. As I kind of hinted at, mentioned quickly, Claire Chassé and the Athletes Unlimited. She won another MVP vote last night in the game, in the match they played. She's on Team Purple again this week. I think it's Purple that she's on. Maybe blue. I don't know. Anyway, she won another MVP vote. She's in 5th overall in the standings. So doing quite well. Everybody loves her seemingly in the league. So good for her. Also, Anna Stevenson was named as a player associate, player representative, something like that. I don't remember the exact title for PVF, the Professional Volleyball League that's starting up in January, February sort of time frame. Claire will be playing for Grand Rapid Rise. Tori Dilfers for Atlanta. They did come out with a name, Atlanta Vibe. I think is what they are. And then, so this suggests, I guess, that Anna's going to be on a team. I don't know which one though, so be looking forward to see which team she's on.
Where's our franchise?
Yeah, well, I keep talking about it. I keep hoping for it. I'd love to see it.
Okay, maybe down the road then.
Yeah.
Daryl, what's up? What you got for me?
I'm just thinking. I know it's not women's sports, but I live over by Manual Football Stadium, and the rivalry game was last night, and Male took the win, 30-23. I think they had the lead 27-7 at halftime. So Manual tried to make it a game, but the Dogs came out on top. So that's what's on my mind because we were fighting parking in our neighborhood last night.
Oh my God, it's still going on.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
they
well,
said
I lived down on Delore for many years,
uh-huh. They
and it was
said
even
there was
stretching down to
8,000.
there. Yeah, it was stretching down to there where I couldn't even. I would come home from work and couldn't
Yeah.
park because of that game.
But the good guys got the win, so
Hmm.
glad to hear the barrel stand where it belongs.
Maybe half of the city would agree with you.
And
Maybe
Jared,
half wouldn't.
Jared would agree with me.
Jared would back
Jared
you up on
agrees
it.
with you.
Yeah,
My
Jared
my
would back you.
my brother went to Male, so he's probably on board. But
There you go.
my dad taught at Manual for a while, so I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and my biggest association was I used to watch a buddy of mine play at Manual many years ago when I played at Front Creek, and I would try to get over and see him whenever I could to watch him play because he was a really good player who had brain cancer,
Hmm.
and that was sad. So that's why I liked Manual. But anyway, how about that? But that's going to do it for us this week. Everybody have a lot of fun this weekend and do the things you want to do. Try to avoid the raindrops because I think they might be coming. And then we'll catch you all next week for another exciting edition for the Cardinal Couple Radio Hour podcast. Go Cards!
Go Cards.